It is Thursday, August 5th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, the guy who took gold in the 100-liter beer chug, J.P. Shadrick.
It was a runaway as well. And welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday afternoon. My name's J.P. Shadrick, and we have a busy program ahead. We will review the last week of training camp. A lot going on for the Jaguars this week. The pads went on. We'll hear from Urban Meyer coming up, Trevor Lawrence. Urban talking about the play of a young tackle who has really stood out in individual one-on-one pass rush drills. We'll get to that. Judy Battista, NFL media. We caught up earlier this week on the practice field. We'll hear from Judy at 4:15 today and get her thoughts on the state of the Jaguars these days and some league matters, including vaccination rates and the like. And Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman will join us at 4:30 today. Then at 5 o'clock, it's another hour of Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network. That'll come up. We'll hear from Logs then as well. Glad you're with us today. The Jaguars were off on Thursday afternoon, or Thursday morning as well. Very light work, if any, here at the facility today. Nothing on the field for the Jaguars, though. Wednesday, though, was the second day in pads, and it was a winner-loser session for the Jaguars. A lot of one-on-one work in special teams. On the defensive side, running backs, linebackers going against each other, and Urban Meyer right there in the middle of it each time, scoring it and keeping track of who's winning, giving instant analysis of who won every single rep. It was announced over the speaker system on the practice fields, the Dreamfinders Homes practice complex. Quite a sight to see. The intensity ramped up a little more yesterday. I think that was probably the most intense of the days so far because of that head-to-head competition among players. When it comes down to scoring it, though, for Urban Meyer, the record matters to the head coach.
We're going to have to make a decision. A big roster is going to go to a smaller roster, and I think to be fair to players, we all have so much respect for that. This is a way guys make a living, and I don't believe in subjectivity. I believe in what's your record. Every man's got a record. What is it? You are what your record are. If you lose a lot, but you have a lot of potential, that's not real good. It's just over my course of my career, the Ahmad Blacks, I can give you example after example that maybe they're a little slow, but they just never lose. So I try to create those and as many safe. There's one way to do it in that scrimmage forever. You can't do that, but you can create scenarios where it's one-on-one and then everybody's got to score. What's your record?
And Urban also said a little later that that score will go into the process of cutting down the rosters at the end. It's not the only thing that matters, of course. There's a lot of other things that go into who is on and off the roster, who makes the cut line and all that. But it is a piece of the puzzle, and they are keeping track on every single thing on that practice field for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll hear from Urban Meyer coming up in just a little bit as well. Trevor Lawrence had some interceptions early on Monday. That was the first competitive day, still the final day without pads for the Jags back on Monday. He rallied a bit in the second half of practice to finish strong, which is a great sign, then came back out the next day, the first day in full pads, and worked pretty well. It is a process, though, for the number one overall pick to learn this new offense. He hasn't really had to learn a new one in a while. He's been at Clemson the last 3 years. So the first time around in this offense, they're now 6 to 7 installations into this offense. And we'll hear from Darrell Bevell coming up in just a moment on the retention for Trevor Lawrence. But the adjustment for Trevor Lawrence in the NFL and learning that offense, it continues to be a challenge for him.
I'm still in that process. I'm a lot further than I was in the spring, so I feel confident in what I know, but there's just so many little details that, I don't know if you ever can say, I know it all. You're always learning, and I definitely still have some more to learn, and different situations I got to get used to. Like, we did 2-minute today, and I'm feeling more comfortable with that, but still trying to make that like clockwork, second nature. It's just something you got to work.
We mentioned Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator for the Jags earlier this week, basically said that they saw some signs of maybe some overload a little bit for Trevor Lawrence. alignments were off in the offense, some small things. It's a work in progress, according to the offensive coordinator.
You know, today was the 6th install that we've been through. I kind of thought it piled up on them a little bit today. The first 5 days, I thought there was some really good recall today. I could see some, misalignments and those kind of things, which you would expect at this point. For Trevor, it's just every day is a learning process, and there's a lot of stuff on him right now. And there's going to be another one tonight, another one the next day, and then once we end them, it'll start to slow down. We'll go back, review, we'll clean some things up. But each and every day he's in there working hard, watching the tape, and trying to improve as he comes back out for the next day.
Even on a day maybe that's not as strong for Trevor Lawrence, say back on Monday, when he had the 3 interception day that was widely reported and all that, there's always, it feels like 2, 3, 4 throws in a practice where he reminds you, if you forgot for some reason, why he was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. He can make throws that nobody else, at least at this moment on that practice field, can. We haven't seen it around here really, maybe ever, if not in a long, long time. Still a long way to go for Trevor Lawrence to get the mastery of the offense and get much more comfortable in doing it on a day-to-day basis. But so far, so good. The process continues for him. But like I said, there are moments that you say, okay, this is the guy. This is why he is who he is. He can flash it at a moment's notice. And he has the weapons around him to help out in that case, including 10th-year receiver Marvin Jones Jr. We caught up with Jones after practice earlier this week. It's his 10th NFL training camp. That's a long time. He is the veteran in this Jaguars locker room. And I asked him, how is his preparation different now in year 10 than it was back in year 1, 2, or 3?
I think it's just the preparation. I have a formula that I do, every offseason and every camp and during the season that works. And it's and I still feel like year 1 when I do that. You know what I'm saying? If not, it takes me a little while to warm up, but you guys wouldn't see it, but I'd feel it. But I think it's just knowing my body, and a lot of the times too, like knowing how to run and certain routes. You don't have to run full speed. You're sitting in the window. You're doing that, and if you do that, repetition, it's like second nature. So so far so good.
Marvin Jones has been so far a great addition for this Jaguars wide receiver room. Of course, 10-year veteran, has done it at a high level really the last couple of years as well. Year 8 and year 9 in the league for him up in Detroit. Some solid numbers there. But he has that personality you just heard there that is great for that room. There's a lot of young guys in that room. DJ Chark is still very young, though he's in his 4th NFL season. And Marvin Jones has gone through that process before of leaving your rookie contract and trying to fight for a second one in the NFL, or a third one in his case. And so he's a great resource for a guy like DJ Chark to maybe calm his nerves, get in his head of, hey, just go play, or we can help you out with this. And then at the end, as he said in his press conference the other day, Marvin Jones said, hey, just follow my coattails and we'll get everybody paid here, which is really what it's all about when it comes to professional football. And Laviska Shenault is the same thing, a second-year player who can look up to the way that Marvin Jones has kept his body over the last 9 years, going on now number 10 in the National Football League. A good example for this wide receiver room. Oh, and he's still making plays, obviously, in training camp, too. That's part of it. He's getting open. He's making a catch or two a day. The same thing from Trevor Lawrence that we said a moment ago. There's a couple plays, a couple throws from him each day. There's a couple catches, it feels like, from Marvin Jones each day in practice as well. That's a great, great sign for this Jaguars offense. Let's flip it around to defense now. What will this defense look like? 4-3, 3-4? Well, it's going to be all of the above for defensive coordinator Joe Cullen.
This scheme, 4-3, 3-4, will be multiple in our scheme, but we can have 4-man fronts, and then basically we can have 3-man fronts, 5-man fronts with 5 down. So I think with the guys that we have up front and the competition, we'll have different package groupings that you won't know who's coming, who's blitzing, what personnel grouping we're in. We'll have all DBs and then 5 guys up front. So I think we'll be able to, once everything's settled, really hone in on different packages.
Excited to hear from Jeff Lageman coming up about 4:30. We'll get his thoughts on what the defense has looked like. He's been watching practice tape every day and see what kind of different ideas Joe Cullen might have in mind. That's an exciting development to see. Well, you just might not know who's coming on a certain play, the different formation options. There's so many guys that could change positions and move around, and Josh Allen can go out in coverage now. He could stand up. He could put, go down in a three-point stance. He can do all of that. Same thing for Caleb on Chason. Miles Jack has been working inside mainly. They can move him outside. That's what Joe Cullen said earlier this week. So there are a lot of opportunities for this Jaguars defense to outwit some offenses in the NFL this year. A big piece of that group, though, of course, is defensive end and linebacker Josh Allen. It is a big year for Allen coming off that knee injury of a season ago. He looks in incredible shape so far in training camp. 3-4 package, he'll be up, standing and moving around a bit, and the third-year pro is fired up for the possibilities on the outside.
Back to ways where I can just move around and I can, disguise and I can, get back to the swag. I feel like defense is all about swagger. And I feel like when you're moving around and you're stemming and you don't know what that person's going to do, that's always a good, to me, I love that. Okay, this dude don't know what I'm about to do, but I'm about to kill him regardless. So, that's my mindset, and I'm going back to that, and we just opening up the game book now, and it's going to be a fun year for all of us, not only for me, but everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
What Trevor Lawrence is to the Jaguars offense, at least early in training camp, is what Josh Allen is for the Jaguars defense. He is the guy. He is the man, obviously. We've known that. But he's got to go out there and prove it again. After missing 8 games or so last season with that knee issue, that's no longer an issue for him. As we said, he looks in better shape, I think, than he was even going into last year. And he is excited to have so many other options on this defense for him to go out and make plays or open it up for guys along that defensive line, the linebackers, all the rest of those guys can make plays too. If you got to double Josh Allen, then somebody else will be able to run free. Maybe that guy running free is Miles Jack, the Jaguars' inside linebacker, working inside, according to Joe Cullen this week, the defensive coordinator. But he could see some time outside in this scheme as well. We heard from assistant head coach and inside linebackers coach Charlie Strong. He knows Miles Jack can handle all that moving around.
Miles is just, you look at him and he can do a lot of different things for you. He's good enough where you get him in a coverage where he can cover the running backs and cover the tight ends, and then he's physical enough when they run the football, he can go hit the ball and go run down guys. But the thing about Miles is he knows that he's got to get better, and what we're asking of him, and it's been great just the way he's come out here working, but he's very versatile.
Versatility, key on this defense this year with all the different schemes Joe Cullen likely has cooked up for the 2021 season. There's our review of the last week in training camp 2021. We've got a busy show ahead. We'll come back and hear from Judy Battista, NFL media reporter, longtime reporter for the New York Times, covering the National Football League, was with the Miami Herald, a few different spots before that. We'll hear from Judy. Always good to get her take on the Jaguars situation and what's going on around the league in terms of vaccination numbers. You can catch the Jaguars scrimmage this Sunday morning, August 8th, inside the bank. It's your last chance to see the Jags in person for free in training camp. Gates open at 9 o'clock with a 9:45 a.m. start Sunday, but you must register ahead of the event. Go to jaguars.com/training camp, and you can reserve your seat, and we'll see you at the bank this Sunday morning. We're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, that's a good stop. Bring it up. It's hell of a start, y'all boys. Let's keep working one play at a time. Technique sound. You gotta slow it down. Be a professional. I keep saying that. Technique. DB's on 3. 1, 2, 3. DB.
Shaq Griffin mic'd up at an earlier training camp practice. The full video available coming up on Jaguars.com. And what a fun addition he has been for this Jaguars team. Good one to talk to, and so far, at least from the sound we just heard there, sounds like a pretty darn good teammate, too. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick. We have Jeff Lageman coming up in about 12 minutes or so here on the program, 4:30, the scheduled time. We'll have a second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour coming up at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network. Our affiliates from all around the state and state of Florida and the state of Georgia and the state of South Carolina now is on board also. They'll all join us at 5 o'clock with more Jaguars Happy Hour review of the last week of training camp. And we'll get into the tape with Jeff Lageman coming up a little bit later. He's been watching all of these one-on-one matchups in practice the last couple of days, and we'll get Log's take on some of that activity that you've seen reported the last couple of days. We'll get deep into the tape with Logs coming up in just a little bit. By the way, next week, our schedule on Jaguars.com goes full. We're going full Duval next week, if you will. Monday, Jaguars Happy Hour returns. Pete Prisco, Tony Baselli, and yours truly. It's 4 to 6 on Monday on 1010XL AM. A re-air a little later on the FM signal on radio 92.5. And then it's live on @Jaguars on Twitter and the Jaguars social channels as well. Wednesday, it's the Huddle Up Show with Bucky Brooks. John Ozier and I will be along with Bucky on Wednesdays, 4 o'clock. That's on Jaguars.com exclusively and the Jag social channels. And then, of course, we're back here on Thursdays with Jaguars Happy Hour, 4 to 6. 4 o'clock is the local hour. 5 o'clock, the network takes over again. So that's the afternoon schedule next week. Jags drive time in the morning most of those days. Check out all the scheduling coming up and all the camp content on Jaguars.com. But the scrimmage is coming up Sunday. We mentioned that a moment ago. It will also be aired on television, 9:30 a.m. on Fox 30 here in Jacksonville Sunday morning. But here's the caveat. No team drills will be shown on television, so you won't see any 11-on-11 work on TV. The only way to see that is to come down to the stadium. Register for free tickets, like we said a moment ago. Jaguars.com/training camp, but there will be a television broadcast. Brian Sexton, Bucky Brooks, and Brent Martineau part of that broadcast on Sunday morning. It's also on radio. That's right. Frank Frangie, Jeff Lageman, Tony Baselli will have the call. Rick Ballou down near the field. That's all going to be on 1010XL Sunday morning. Breakfast and football this Sunday. Hope you'll join us one way or another. Hopefully here, and bring the radio with you at the same time. Why not? You'll hear a lot of that coming up this weekend. Let's hear from Judy Battista now, our good friend from NFL Media. She's been covering the league for a long, long time at a number of different places, most notably with the New York Times from 98 to 2013 as the NFL reporter for the Times, and joined NFL Media in 2013. And she is really locked into what's going on around the NFL when it comes to the vaccination numbers, and has a lot of thoughts about what's happening here in Jacksonville as well. We caught up earlier this week. To see you, and always appreciate your time.
It's great to see you in person. I never thought I would say it's great to be standing out at a training camp practice again, but it's great to be at a practice again.
I think the last 3 or 4 interviews we've done have been over Zoom, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's all of last year. I only saw people on a computer screen, so it's nice to be in front of people again.
We're speaking on Wednesday. You were here Tuesday as well. 2 days for the Jaguars. Your initial impression after Tuesday's practice, it feels like, to me at least, that there's not a lot of wasted time on the practice field. Urban Meyer is not going to let a second go by.
No, it is a very efficient practice, which I'm sure is like a coach loves to hear the word efficient. That's got to be their favorite word, but it is efficient, right? Like they move between fields, like when they're changing fields, like there's no wasted effort and wasted time. They're getting a lot done out there.
So far in the off-season program, I know you talked to Urban around the draft. I believe you were in town for that. I'm curious how the pressure of the regular season, preseason will get to him, if it will get to him, how he will handle that. So far, he's been great in front of the microphone when the lights have been on him. He always has been. That really hasn't changed. But they haven't played a live football game yet. I wonder do you think there will be some change in Urban as this goes along?
I don't know specific to Urban. There's changes in every coach in the NFL once the season gets going, which is why I always say, like, I love coming to training camp because for the most part, nothing bad has happened yet. So everybody's still in a good mood. Everybody's optimistic. And you haven't played a game yet. Most places tighten up, not just coaches, players do too. And that's understandable, right? I mean, they feel the pressure. And but look, Urban's been around the block a lot at an extremely high level with an awful lot of success. So I would think he probably changes less. What I'm curious about is if they don't, he is used to tremendous success at an extremely high level. And so if that doesn't happen, that I'm curious to see how he handles that and what he does to correct it.
Judy Battista with us from NFL Media. You've seen Trevor Lawrence on the field now for a day, and there have been a few moments in every practice where you say, you know what, that's the number 1 overall pick for a reason.
Yeah, there was that pass yesterday to Marvin Jones that was like between 2 defenders that was a rocket, and like the reporters gasped, right? And we're, whoa, that looks like a quarterback. And there were a few other plays that, probably aren't on the highlight reel, but where he rolled out and made throws on the run and plays would break down and he would make something of it, and that's what you want to see, right? I mean, maybe even more than the rocket to Marvin Jones, which I think we all know he can make that pass. It's the creating plays when things are falling apart and making plays on the move. That's really what you want to see. I talked to Brian Schottenheimer yesterday, and he said, as ridiculous as it sounds, you sort of forget what a great athlete he is, how he can move because he's so tall, right? He's 6'6", and so you forget that, like, he can move. And he was moving yesterday, and it looked good. Yesterday looked really good to me. I know the day before maybe it wasn't quite as smooth, but yesterday I thought looked good. And that's what a rookie quarterback's going to do, right? what you want to see is that he can have a good day after a bad one.
Darrell Bevel spoke with the media after practice Tuesday and said that, that day, yesterday, Tuesday, was maybe there was a little bit of overload in terms of the play calling and the retention from the installation earlier in the day. Even with the number 1 overall pick, that can happen, right? It's a rookie quarterback. It's a lot of new going on here, but how he handles that and moves forward, I think, will be the real answer and the telling part of Trevor.
Yeah, Schottenheimer said the same thing, that what they're looking for is how does he retain stuff? How does he adjust? Does he remember the checks at the line of scrimmage? How does he call the protections for the offensive line? All of the things that go into being a quarterback that, frankly, most people are not, right? We're just looking to see, is he completing passes? There's so much more that goes into it. And, they always say it's like drinking from a fire hose, right? Like you get this gigantic playbook and it's like, here, kid, go. So there's going to be ups and downs. Like, I was at the Jets last week, and it's the same thing with Zach Wilson, and Robert Saleh said there's going to be ebbs and flows, and it's going to drive everybody crazy, players, coaches, fans, but this is part of the process. And all you want to see is that they can bounce back from a not good day and have a good day, and Trevor did that yesterday. So I don't think they have any concerns about Trevor Lawrence's ability to process stuff. Schottenheimer compared him in terms of mental acuity to Phillip Rivers, which is a pretty high bar to reach. So that's pretty good.
Judy Battista with us. I know there's a month until opening weekend, kickoff weekend, but the AFC South quarterback situations are changing by the day. All of a sudden, it feels like India's changed a lot. We know what Houston's going through. Tennessee is stable, at least for the moment. And what's happening here in Jacksonville, things have changed in the last week or so.
The AFC South, I'm sorry to say, is like a train wreck, right? I mean, this week alone, the poor Indianapolis Colts are having the worst injury luck imaginable, with serious injuries to your starting quarterback and your all-pro guard, maybe the best player on the team. And they're both out with foot injuries that the range is like 5 weeks to 12 weeks, which tells us nothing, right? 5 weeks, they're back for the opener. That seems optimistic. 12 weeks, they're not back until November, which is devastating. Who knows who the quarterback is going to be there? And even when Carson Wentz comes back, what is he? A big part of his game was mobility. Is he going to be mobile? Houston, I'm not being facetious. I'm not sure anybody really knows what's going on there. I mean, it's really a mess. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is not going to be the starting quarterback. I think we can surmise that much. Tyrod Taylor is, but the roster has been ripped apart. I mean, they're clearly rebuilding. I don't know what's going on there. Tennessee, I think, as a result of the Colts, I think Tennessee is the class of the division now. And I think the addition of Julio Jones helps, because that will relieve some of the defensive pressure on Derrick Henry, which is terrifying because he was as productive as he was when the defenses were keying on him. So now that the defenses can't key on him on every down, like, whoa. So I think Tennessee is the team to beat in the division. But listen, it sets up perfectly for a team like the Jaguars, because you think you can probably pick off a few games here in the division that maybe you wouldn't have if everybody was in place.
Don't we know about the Derrick Henry situation here in Jacksonville? We've seen it firsthand, I believe.
Ridiculous. He's insane. I mean, the fact, again, that defenses have been able to just load up against him and they still can't get him down is crazy. And the idea that now they're going to have to pay attention to Julio Jones is yikes,
I still have nightmares of Mike Keith screaming 99 yards on the commercial every single day.
Yes. He's so, maybe not from the Jacksonville point of view, but he's so fun to watch, right? I mean, he's amazing. He may be more, he probably won't get as many touches because you have Julio Jones, but he may be more productive as a result.
Judy Battista with us from NFL Media. You spoke with the commissioner earlier this week? Saturday, this past weekend up in New York. And I think he's going to make the rounds, a number of different teams for some ticketing initiatives coming up. So we'll hear from him here in Jacksonville shortly. And we've talked about this before, the way he and the league handled last season was absolutely incredible. They actually got the season in full, first of all, even a piece of the season. But they got the whole thing in, played through the Super Bowl, did everything. They didn't have to miss a step. Now it's on to 2021, and the expectation, at least from the commissioner, it sounds like, that every team should have a full stadium we're a month away. How real is that?
Well, right now they have permission from local authorities in all of the cities to have full stadiums. I guess I'm curious to see if there will be, will some places go to, like, do you have to wear masks? Are you going to have to show some form of, a negative test or a vaccination card? That would be local authorities who have to make that decision. But certainly the NFL feels that now that vaccines are available to everybody 12 and up, that fans can be in the stadiums, that they can do this safely. They felt they got some fans. They had 1 million fans overall last year. They were able to do that safely when there was no vaccine available. So they're confident they are going to be allowed to have full stadiums. Then I think it's just a question of, how does it go during the season? I mean, one thing we learned last year is, right, the virus sort of morphs and everybody has to adjust as you go along, and I think they're prepared to do that this year too.
On the team front, I believe that memo the week before training camp maybe moves some players in the direction of the vaccine, let's say. The numbers continue to rise, and that's good news.
Yeah, the screws got turned, no question about it. I thought Ryan Tannehill gave the most candid thing, and he said, well, it feels like the NFL is twisting our arms, so I got vaccinated. It's like, well, yes, that's exactly what they're doing. So it's working. That's good. Yes, it is a good thing. I don't want to get into the vaccine debate, but I mean, the only way anybody is going to play through this safely, and the only way we're all going to get through this safely, is to have widespread vaccination. And they feel strongly that if you talk to any coach, they clearly feel if you don't have a team that is widely vaccinated, you are at a real competitive disadvantage. And all you have to do is look at some of the teams. The Minnesota Vikings had 3 quarterbacks be close contacts, the other day and got wiped out of practice. And imagine if that happens in a game week. I mean, that's a disaster. But last year it was different because there were no vaccines, so everybody was on equal footing, right? It was impossible. It was so hard for everybody. This year is much different because you're going to have some teams that have 95% vaccinated. You already have some teams that are 95% vaccinated. Those teams are going to have a much easier time than a team that has, I don't know what the lowest figure is now, 70% vaccinated. I mean, the risk of, for instance, your starting quarterback not being vaccinated must keep coaches up at night, right, pulling their hair out. Because the risk that he could, even if he doesn't get sick, that he's a close contact and has to be out for whatever the number of days is, that's rough when the other team's starting quarterback is going to be okay. Woof.
Judy Battista, the great reporter for NFL Media, joining us earlier this week at training camp, and I give her a follow on Twitter at Judy Battista, Battista, the spelling of the last name. We are back in a moment with Jeff Lageman, Lageman, the spelling of that. Jaguars analyst will join us here on the program. He's been breaking down film the last few days of training camp. We'll get into his head when we return. The official Jaguars podcast network is up and running. A free subscription on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify. We'll have this show every week. Jaguars Reporters, the Huddle Up show on Wednesday next week. The Ozone podcast a little later. You give us that 5-star rating. And it's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes. Homes that fit your lifestyle. Next Grill. Everyone's invited. And Adecco. Visit AdeccoUSA.com.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And what's better than saving up to $5,000 in closing costs when you buy or refinance a home? With a ViStar no closing costs mortgage, you'll get a great rate, no hidden fees, and like the name says, no closing costs up to $5,000. If you believe saving money is better, join ViStar. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Offer not available on VA and FHA mortgages. For more information, visit vistarcu.org.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on a Thursday afternoon. Glad you're along with us. JP Shadrick. Our thanks to Judy Battista, NFL Media, for joining us earlier this week. We just heard from her. And it's time now to hear from Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman. Real training camp is here now, Jeff. They've put the pads on finally, bud. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and it's good to see the pads finally go on. And it's amazing to me how sometimes you kind of have a preconceived notion about how certain guys are going to look. And then when the pads go on, sometimes that changes and changes completely. So that's why they always say, you got to wait until you get the pads get on and wait till the pads get on, especially for some of the big guys, because it certainly changes things.
We are going to go through some of the tape that you've been watching from practice most days
I've
here.
I've been watching everything. I literally, I got this, JP, I got this new chair from my father-in-law that he had forever. And for lack of a better term, it's kind of like this old man chair. It's got it's got the remote control that's attached to the wire. If you have a hard time getting up, it raises you up and out, and it's got a recline feature to it. And man, I'm going to tell you now, sometimes, I get narcolepsy sometimes when I'm watching film, and it's terrible, but it's awesome. It's like the ultimate film seat. Got my iPad, get my pillow right on front, prop that iPad right up in front of me, get my glasses on because, my eyes are not what they used to be, and watch every single drill that I possibly can. And it's been awesome. It's been awesome.
I don't remember ever hearing you sound this old before, Log. You said your eyesight's bad. You got an old man chair now. You got gray in your beard. Like, what is going on over there?
Well, JP, I'm getting into my mid-50s, and so I'm starting to get older. But it's, I can tell you this, watching football never gets old for me. I absolutely love watching the film part and the aspect of it because, as much as, you gain by watching it in person, it's hard to watch all 11 guys or actually all 22 guys on every single play. So when you have the ability to watch the tape with your eyes, you watch a certain area. But then on the tape, you go back and you rewind it 3 or 4 times to watch maybe some of the nuances and the small things or the little things that guys do, and you pick up on some of that stuff. And you learn a lot. I mean, you certainly learn more than you could by actually being there in person, I think.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to be there in person to see certain things, and being there in person to see Trevor Lawrence, it to me is an eye opener, because when you watch him on film, as I've done for many months in the offseason leading up to the draft, and then obviously mini camp, seeing him in person, it was different.
Yeah.
Because he's got a lot more velocity, he's got the build, he's got the height, and he's got the athleticism. And sometimes that's hard to see all of that by just watching the film. Sometimes you got to see it in person as well.
Darrell Bevell earlier this week, the offensive coordinator Logs, said that he could tell in one of the practices that maybe there was a little bit of overload with him, and from the installation to the practice field, maybe some of the alignments were off here or there. That happens with a rookie quarterback. Can you see that on the tape as well? And how does a rookie quarterback overcome something like that?
Well, it doesn't just happen to a rookie quarterback. It happens to rookies, period. And that's just the way it is. You know, all of a sudden during training camp, you have an installation progression. And, in the mini camps and OTAs, it's kind of slow and it's very subtle. But then once you get to training camp, okay, there's no time to waste. We have to install the entire playbook, because when we get to week 1, we may have to use the entire playbook. And so the rate of installation is increased in training camp. And sometimes rookies get a little bit of that fog brain, I kind of call it, because they kind of get lost. They get a couple things down, and then all of a sudden, okay, that's good, I got it. Then they add 3 more things to it the next day. Then you're still trying to maintain that clarity, and sometimes it's difficult. But, look, Trevor Lawrence has moments, in JP, I heard you talk about this early in the show, and I think you hit it right on the head, and that every now and again, Trevor Lawrence has 2 or 3 throws, and in my opinion, it's more than that, but he has throws in practices that remind you why he was the first overall pick. The skill set that he has is fantastic. And the one thing I think that he is also learning is, one, he's trying to learn a new system. He's trying to learn a new language. But JP, one of the biggest adjustments for quarterbacks when they make the jump from college to pros, the windows now get smaller because the athletes at every level are better. And so the quarterback, again, has smaller windows to throw in. So what may not appear to be open from college in the pros, it's considered open. So it's a little bit of an adjustment in a lot of different ways, from the verbiage to the amount of coverages that you face, but then also the type of windows that you're seeing as a passer.
Jeff Lageman with us here on Jaguars Happy Hour, taking a look at the tape. And the last practice yesterday was a winner versus loser practice, Logs. That's what they announced at the start of practice, and every rep, a winner was announced over the loudspeaker by Fernando Lovo, the chief of staff for Urban Meyer. Urban's right there in the middle, grading this thing live, instantaneously, so they want instant results from all this one-on-one drill, from special teams one-on-ones to O-line versus D-line, everybody that had it. Urban's right there in the middle of it. And actually, at one point, he got run over on special teams drill and took a spill on the practice field. He's that close and into it. He got up and finished practice, of course, just fine. But I liked Urban's idea of having that instant feedback and keeping the grade, which they probably did in the past anyway, but it's out there for everybody to see, so you have a pretty good idea of where you stand.
Well, the one thing I think that for me, JP, the more I hear from Urban Meyer, the more I like. And is this anything new, keeping score? Well, no, but it's the fact that you're letting the players know that we're going to announce it and let everybody know how that competition is working out. That's different.
Yeah.
But in coaches' minds, they've always kept score in the past. I mean, that's how you make your decisions, to make roster decisions or to make personnel moves or change guys' positions or the percentage of in the rotation. All those things have happened before, but I think it kind of creates a little bit more awareness of what the bottom line is. And if you look at Jaguars coaches that have coached in the past, this is like the opposite end of the spectrum from Gus Bradley.
Okay.
Because Urban it's all about the results, the end result. With Gus Bradley, it's kind of, okay, it's the journey and it's the process and everything else.
We're getting better.
Yeah, and they're both right, and that you're trying to get to a certain point to where you're successful. And there's kind of two belief systems. I like Urban's way, and me and Gus used to have arguments about the way in which it should be accomplished. But nevertheless, the more I hear from Urban, the more I like him. When he's in the drill, little JP, when you talked about he almost got run over.
He did.
He is in the one-on-one pass rush. He is right there in the mix, and he has almost gotten crushed numerous times. He'd better work on his little 4-cone drill because he's got to get better feet to get out of the way. But I like it because it also lets the players know the coach is in it with us. And that's a big deal, because when you get into the NFL season and things are kind of not easy, look, the more you want to play for a coach, the harder you're going to play. And so I like that aspect of it. And JP, I'm trying to think of a way that me and you can have a winners losers thing. And I'm going to let you kind of think on that, but we got to do something like that.
It's
during our show.
It's a great idea. We've got a lot of season ahead to figure that out, but I got a feeling, we'll work on that. We'll work on that. I'm not going to concede anything yet, because you never know what the competition could be.
One quick thing, JP, about the winners and losers, because it was far-reaching across the entire practice. It was the offensive and defensive linemen in pass rush drill and run blocking. Then you had the running backs versus linebackers, and it was in pass protection. And then it was also in one-on-one coverage for those guys as well. So special teams had an aspect of it. The wide receivers and corners playing man coverage, bump and run, had the winners and losers day. So
nice.
Everybody got a piece of it in practice, and I like it.
Well, we'll come back in a moment, and we'll single out some guys that maybe had some good days the last couple of days. If you'd like to do that, we are off and running. We've got one more segment here in the opening hour of Jaguars Happy Hour at 5 o'clock. It's our network program, Jaguars Happy Hour, and more Jeff Lageman coming up in just a little bit. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
Committed to the team, committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest-growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs. Drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
The station that the Jaguars listen to, 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. Coming up at 5 o'clock, it's also Jaguars Happy Hour. 2 hours on Thursday. That hour, though, will be on the Jaguars Radio Network coming up in just a little bit on all our affiliates around 3 different states. We'll continue this program in the next hour. Hey, coming up at Daly's Place, Miranda Lambert tonight. She tweeted the other day it's the first time in 5 years she's played in Jacksonville. She's playing tonight at Daly's Place. Blackberry Smoke August 10th, Lady A August 20th, and tickets are available at dailysplace.com. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman along with us today. Okay, winners, losers, Logs. You know, I was a little late getting to practice, had a meeting, had to walk out there a little late. The first thing I see when I get on the practice field yesterday is Walker Little throwing Kayvon Chason around.
You know, and here's the thing, JP. Kayvon Chason had a really good first padded practice. I'm talking really good on Tuesday. And I was like, holy cow, Kayvon Chason, that's what the Jaguars need. He's taking a step up. He's making himself get recognized. He's making plays. And in the first day of pads, that's what you want to see. Day 2 rolls around and he meets Walker Little. and that was it for Kayvon Chason. That was it. Walker Little is, I realistically believe this, that there's a serious competition going on at left tackle, whether it's spoken or unspoken, whatever you want to call it. Walker Little is a very talented young man. He hasn't played a lot of football, but he is extremely talented. He's got feet, he's got size, he's got technique, he's got strength. He's got everything that you want out of a left tackle. And let me say this also. Cam Robinson, I think, is doing very well and having a good camp. But Cam still has some technical flaws that I think are going to be difficult to overcome. Now, Walker Little still has to continue to progress, and it's early in the process. There's only been 2 padded practices.
Yeah.
But I think it makes you go, okay, there's a reason to be excited because this is a young man that could progress and be a really good football player. And the competition makes the team better and it makes players better. That's what you like the most.
I mean, Cam Robinson has that $13.7 million 1-year deal right now, the franchise tag,
Sure.
right? So
Sure.
it's guaranteed, Logs. That's the only hang-up.
Well, I think that, you know, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen. No, you're not going to sit $13 million on the bench. You're going to find a way to get Cam Robinson on the field.
You're going to play
But
somewhere, right?
the reality is that when it comes to starting jobs, it's not about the money all the time. It's about the performance. And I like Cam, and I think Cam's a good football player. But the reality is that Walker Little is a really good football player. I think his ceiling is higher than Cam Robinson. And it's early in the process, so let's kind of see what happens. But I'm excited for the competition. I mean, that's what you want. You wish you had more competition across the whole entire roster that way. That means your general manager is doing a great job of acquiring talent. And it's only year 1 for this regime. So the more that they can do this type of thing in the future, the better they're going to be, period.
Logs, who else stood out to you as a winner from the trenches yesterday?
Well, there's a few guys. And it's kind of hard to single out one guy in particular, but I'm going to do it because Devon Hamilton is an absolute stud. I mean, absolute stud. And when they weren't in pads, I was kind of watching him going, you know, he's got to pick it up. He's not moving his feet well. He's not moving well. He's got to show up more. Well, pads go on, and all of a sudden, guess what? The guy and I would love to know how big he really is, because
he's listed. Yeah, he's listed
according to the roster, JP.
Right, 6'4", 335.
335. There's not a chance in hell that he's 335. I'm here to tell you that right now.
What do you think he is?
There's no way that he is less than 350. And here's the thing.
He's not fat, though.
It ain't a fat 350.
No.
Okay? And then I'm not talking about a 4% 350 either, body fat type of guy. I mean, he's got some girth to him, so he's got some body fat, but I mean, he's got a lot of muscle. And watching him the last 2 days, nobody can block him. Brandon Linder can't block him. Okay? Tyler Shatley can't block him. Norwell can't block him. AJ can't block him. Seriously, it's JP, when you're young and you're in high school, and you always have people that are on kind of different levels of maturity. You had that guy in high school, and and he was already muscled up, and he had almost could grow a full beard.
Right.
And then you were waking up every day and you're looking at your armpits, going, man, I wish I could get some hair into my armpit, because I mean, the guys are just on different levels in high school. When you watch Devon Hamilton play, sometimes that's what it looks like where he is at, and then he's on a different level. He is powerful. He moves well. He toys with guys. And you brought up a name with me earlier when we were talking about it, and you brought up the name Marcel Darius. Marcel Darius didn't have the size that Devon Hamilton had. So Devon is doing it with probably less strength and just more sheer mass, but it's similar as far as the dominance on the offensive line, and it's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch, indeed. There's no doubt about that. There was another standout play, at least that I remember, that Roy Robertson Harris made in one-on-ones against Brandon Linder, a spin move and put Linder on the ground. That's a free agent pickup. And, so far in training camp, the free agent pickups have, been good guys to talk to, seem like great additions in the locker room, and a lot of these guys have flashed on the field so far in camp. That's a good sign.
Well, JP, I will tell you, the defensive line acquisition, and you know me, I'm a defensive line guy, like watching that, and my eyes kind of gravitate towards that, probably on every play more than other position. That's just natural. But with Devon Hamilton, Roy Robertson Harris, and then also your other free agent acquisition,
Malcolm Brown.
Make sure
Jihad
I got this
Ward,
correct
Malcolm
here.
Brown.
Malcolm Brown. Okay, those three guys right now, those are your starting three front guys in your 3-4 base defense, I think. I think they're the most talented players that you have up front. Now, the other guys that played last year, you got Agatis and Equale and those guys. Look, they're backups, and they can have a lot of flexibility with some guys like Smoot. He can play down as a defensive end. But when you're in run-stopping mode and you need to be big on big, those are your three guys. And right now they're playing really good. And Roy Robertson Harris is fun to watch because not only is he strong and he's big and naturally big and strong, but he's got some athleticism to him. And he's got really good body control. When I say athleticism, some guys have athleticism. They can run and jump and kind of do those type of things. But Roy Robertson Harris has a great awareness as well as a defensive lineman, something that Taven Bryan, we've been talking about for a number of years.
Yeah.
But that's an area of his game that he has to work on. But Roy Robertson Harris, he's got that.
Good stuff, Flogs. We have plenty more ahead coming up in the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour. Can't wait to hear more of your breakdowns of training camp 2021 so far. Logs has been watching the film in great detail over the last week or two, and we'll see what else he has to say about this Jaguars team here in just a little bit. We'll also hear again from Judy Battista, NFL media reporter. She'll join us. A little thought on Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence in the second hour, the network hour coming up. Our thanks to Judy for joining us. Thanks to Jeff Lageman. Plenty more ahead as Jaguars Happy Hour rolls along. It's an off day for the Jaguars. They're back on the practice field tomorrow, Saturday, and then in the stadium Sunday for the scrimmage. training camp rolling along. And we're rolling along with Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Former Jaguar Jeff Lageman and JP Shadrick provide the latest Jaguars news and what's happening around the NFL. Jaguars Happy Hour begins right now.
Welcome into Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network. JP Shadrick and Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst, with us as the Jaguars are off today. Training camp, they're back on the field Friday, Saturday, and in the stadium Sunday for the scrimmage. Plenty to come. We'll hear from Judy Battista, NFL media, her thoughts on Urban Meyer so far in training camp and Trevor Lawrence's play. Logs, good afternoon. I know you've been breaking down the tape the last couple days. We, on an earlier show here in Jacksonville, has started to break down some of the winners and losers from the Wednesday's practice, where they had a winner-loser day announced to all the players instantaneously. And they're keeping score. Let's hear from Urban Meyer first about that, and he wants to know everybody's record.
We're going to have to make a decision. A big roster is going to go to a smaller roster, and I think to be fair to players, we all have so much respect for it. This is a way guys make a living, and I don't believe in subjectivity. I believe in what's your record. Every man's got a record. What is it? You are what your record are. If you lose a lot, but you have a lot of potential, that's not real good. It's just over my course of my career, the Ahmad Blacks, I can give you example after example that maybe they're a little slow, but they just never lose. So I try to create those and as many safe, there's one way to do it in that scrimmage forever. You can't do that. But you can create scenarios where it's one-on-one and then everybody's got to score. What's your record?
What's your record, Logs? It is an approach for Urban Meyer to keep everybody informed what's going on as quickly as he can, so everybody knows where they stand, at least in part, on the practice field.
Well, one thing is for certain, every man has a record, and Urban Meyer's record is pretty damn good. So he gets a lot of leeway because of that. And in reality, some of the drills that the Jaguars have, where it's special teams or if it's a one-on-one pass pro with an offensive and defensive lineman, there is a little subjectivity to that, just because the game situation is kind of always the determinant factor of what the end result of the play is, and you don't have that when you have some one-on-one drills. But I like it. I like the idea that it creates more competition in a practice. It creates fun competition, and it somewhat breaks the monotony of training camp, because once you get about 5 or 6 days in on training camp, you're getting a little bit bored. And when I say bored, you get a little tired, you're getting a little sore, you're getting a little edgy, you're seeing the same guys, you're tired of his body odor, you're tired of his breath, so it just changes it up a little bit, makes it fun, and I like it.
This is really the time when you start to figure out the trenches for this team. We have a pretty good idea of the offensive line. There's a lot of new faces on the defensive line for this team, Logs, but you had an idea, but then they put the pads on and start hitting each other. That's when you really start finding out guys who could be making a move, guys that you really want to lean on this year in 2021.
Well, one thing is for certain, the big guys is really where you make a lot of hay, so to speak, by watching the film and watching them in person once the pads go on. Because it's almost impossible to evaluate the big guys beforehand. It's not like, because here's the deal. If you were evaluating Norwell without pads on, you go, he's not very athletic and, he doesn't move all that great. But when the pads go on, you go, God, he's a big man and they can't get around him and he's strong and he moves people and he's a big immovable force. I mean, that's the difference. Another example, Devon Hamilton, no pads, sitting there watching him. and they list him at what, 330, whatever, which is, I mean, that's got to be, it's like high school, you know. Let's make him look lighter and leaner and faster. You know, in high school, you did the opposite. Let's add 50 pounds to him on the depth chart. So when the opponent picks up, they're going, oh my God, he's so big, I'm not going to be able to withstand him. But anyway, he is probably 350 plus, and he's not 335. He might even be 360. But without pads, he wasn't having the best of practice. He wasn't bad, but he didn't really take notice and go, oh, yeah, that Devon Hamilton, he looks good. Pad goes on. Nobody can block him. Brandon Leonard can't block him. Norwell can't block him. A.J. Cam can't block him. And Marcel Darius, who we talked about earlier, used to kind of toy with guys because he was so strong.
Yeah.
But this guy's a little different, JP. And Devon Hamilton almost kind of extend guys out, and he's looking. And at the last minute, and he can do this whenever he wants to, he just sits there and he goes, okay, there's the ball. It's going this way. Here's my gap. He cuts back, and then he just throws the guy to the side. He makes a play. And because he's just so strong and he's in total control of the offensive lineman, and it's fun to watch. And he's a guy that I think with the Jaguars, when they started training camp and they had the OTAs, they were looking at all these veterans that they brought in and were like, well, you know, I mean, we really like these guys that we brought in, and Devon Hamilton is he's okay. You know, we think he's going to get better. Well, I mean, when the pads went on, if the coaches didn't notice Devon Hamilton, they're completely blind, because it was a big, big step up for him. Walker Little was another guy that took a step up. The first day of padded practice, Kayvon Chazon looked fantastic. I mean, fantastic. All of a sudden, you're like, okay, this is what you need. The Jaguars' first-round pick from last year starting to show some things. Well, then he met Walker Little in day 2, and in one-on-one pass rush, there were 3 pass rushes that Kayvon Chazon had against Walker Little, and Kayvon Chazon didn't even get an opportunity to smell the deodorant or the cologne of the quarterback. I mean, it was just like poof stuff, and it was awesome. And Walker Little's a guy that's fun to watch. I said this earlier. I think this is a legitimate competition at left tackle. It's one that you can be patient with, though, because I think Cam Robinson is continuing to get better. But you know what? Competition makes everybody better, makes players better, makes position groups better, and it makes teams better. You'd like to have more. And with this regime, it's only year 1 of acquiring talent. So you'd like to continue to do things of this nature to where you get better and you create competition, because it's going to make your team roster better. Yep. And it's going to give you an opportunity to win a Super Bowl.
Jeff Lageman with us. We'll be back in a moment and get into Trevor Lawrence's camp so far and what he has looked like since the pads have gone on this week. There was an interception day early in the week, but he has bounced back since then. We'll also hear from Urban Meyer coming up on Walker Little, the rookie tackle out of Stanford, and his thoughts on where he stands so far. Plenty ahead, and you can check out the official Jaguars Podcast Network, a free subscription on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. This program, of course, archived every Thursday. Jaguars Reporters, the Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks coming up next Wednesday, and the Ozone Podcast once the season begins. Give us that 5-star rating. We are off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
I don't think we're there yet, but he's certainly right up there. That's every off day we have a 2-hour personnel meeting. So tomorrow we'll have another one. We had one on Sunday, and I have them, all the coaches ranked 1, 2, because first of all it's a starting 5, and then it's also there's that cut limit, who's behind the cut line, and then we also do a mindset grade on each player. The mindset's competitive spirit, toughness, intelligence, leadership, and adaptability. Everybody does that, so we'll spend over 2 hours on that tomorrow.
Check all those boxes?
So far, yeah. He's a guy that, he's probably better than I thought, and I thought he'd be really good.
That's head coach Urban Meyer asked about Walker Little after the first couple days in pads, and welcome back to Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman alongside today. And we'll be here until 6 o'clock Eastern time on the Jaguars radio network. That's pretty high praise from the head coach for a rookie tackle, as we've talked about just a few moments ago. Logs Walker Little's start so far. 2 practices in, a lot of time left in camp. Let's see what happens, but so far so good for number 72. Let's move along now, Logs, to quarterback Trevor Lawrence. And his week so far, it started out with a 2 or 3 interception day on Monday, the final day without pads. And later in practice, I think he, kind of bounced back as practice went along, which is a good sign. Came out the next day and played well. And, he makes a throw or 2 or 4 or 5 a practice that are just like, okay, this is why the guy's the number 1 overall pick. His grasp of the offense continues to improve, it feels like, though it's a work in progress. That's going to take some time as a rookie. But what do you like on tape so far in camp from Trevor Lawrence?
Okay, well, let me just go back to the interceptions just for a second, because everybody was like, oh, yeah, he threw 3 interceptions in one practice. Well, one of those 3 interceptions was a defensive offsides, and it was a free play, and he pushes the ball down the field, and it was intercepted by a defensive back. See, for me, that's a positive.
Aggressive, yeah, I like that.
It's because the quarterback has the awareness that he knows that it's a free play, and he's going to throw it deep, knowing that if it's intercepted, it's going to come back. It's not a big deal. So for all the people that, oh, yeah, that 3rd interception or whatever was terrible. Well, no, it was not terrible. That's why you don't know enough football. If you knew football, that's actually a positive play. The other 2 interceptions, one of them was a miscommunication with the wide receiver. The wide receiver goes left. Trevor throws it like he's going to go right. Who's at fault there? I don't know. It's a perfect example of a young quarterback and new coaches, new system, new players, and everybody's trying to figure it out. And so let's not jump to major conclusions that, oh my goodness, Trevor Lawrence is struggling. Now, the one interception that he had the other day, which was one, he actually got pressured a little bit and bumped into the pocket, and it took all the velocity off of his ball, and it was really just a bad decision because you can't make that throw anyway. So, but that's all part of the learning process. And I think young quarterbacks always have to go through this because the playbook gets a lot bigger in the National Football League. And when the playbook gets bigger, the windows for throwing get a little bit smaller, and the timing has to be better. And so this is all kind of something that takes time to learn. And I've said this before, Troy Aikman won 1 game his rookie year. Trevor Lawrence is going to win a lot more than that. I can guarantee you that. Peyton Manning, what did he win? 4 or 5 his rookie year? Maybe only 3, I think, his rookie year.
Wasn't many, no.
Trevor Lawrence is going to win more than that. And the other thing, I'm reading Gardner Minshew's comments that he's got this competition. He hasn't taken a number 2 in weeks because, he doesn't want to be number 2.
Right.
Look, the reality is this. Trevor Lawrence is the starting quarterback, okay? Regardless of what Gardner Minshew says. And the reason why is open your eyes and watch. Trevor Lawrence has the tool bag to be a much better quarterback than Gardner Minshew. And I'm not trying to criticize Gardner Minshew. This is just reality. Trevor Lawrence has the arm strength, the velocity, the accuracy, the athleticism. And when you watch the two of them and you compare them side by side, it's not even close. It's not. I think Gardner Minshew can be a great backup. But I think that this team, and I think you can see a little bit of it, that they need to commit to Trevor Lawrence being the starting quarterback. And you're seeing it. I mean, you want to make it to where he's earning something, so you're having competition. But the reality is that Trevor Lawrence is the starting quarterback for this football team. The more reps that you can get him between now and the opener against Houston, the better off this team is going to be, and the better off that he's going to be.
When do you make that official?
Well, JP, I think a lot of that has already been determined.
Yeah,
would be my guess, because I think the coaches have eyes that are a lot better than my eyes, obviously. And you drafted somebody first overall. You're not picking somebody first overall to sit behind a former 6th-round pick that doesn't have the arm strength that you want out of a starting quarterback. But I mean, they're not going to announce anything probably until you get to maybe the second preseason game, or maybe the third preseason game. I don't know. I mean, this is new ground here for Urban Meyer being a coach in the pros. Will he wait until the opening week to keep opponents from game planning? I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but I know in their minds, JP, I don't know this. I would assume that in their mind, they know that Trevor Lawrence is their guy.
Just a matter of the messaging to the team and the ramifications that might come after that.
And listen to all the comments from the players, JP.
That they're praising Trevor all the time.
Players know it. I mean, players have eyes. Let me give you another example. When you have interviews with all the other players, whether it be offensive players or defensive players, they're getting a lot of questions about Trevor Lawrence. But do you see what they do when they're asked about Trevor Lawrence? Their eyes light up. They start talking in glowing terms. I was like, wow, man, some of the throws that he makes. I mean, look, players know. Players know. Give me an example kind of on the opposite of that. You know, the Jaguars, when you put pads on, there's always it's a great separating moment for football players. And players are smart. They see it. The Jaguars have multiple players that are on this roster that have a lot to prove. And one of them's Tim Tebow. I mean, he's got to show that he can be physical and play the tight end position. He played a position for many years that was the quarterback position, and he was a physical quarterback. But the difference between being physical for a quarterback and being physical for a tight end, it's two completely different worlds. And if the first 2 days of contact are any indication, Tim Tebow has a long way to go. And when you make a position switch, you obviously have a long way to go. But he's got a ways to go, JP. He's got to be a lot more physical, and especially if you're going to block linebackers and you're going to block defensive ends and they're coming downhill. You got to meet them. You got to meet him with the power and the speed, and that's something he's got to learn to do.
Plenty more ahead. We'll return with another deep dive, if you will, as Urban Meyer would say, into the tape from Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst over the last couple days of padded practices. Jaguars game day broadcasts are presented by VyStar Credit Union, and this is Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town, with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our scrubbing soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey. Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
At ViStar, we believe in better. Better convenience, so members can bank any way they want. Whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 surcharge-free ATMs across North America. Because we believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Have you painted yourself for game day and dyed your pet's fur to match? Do you bleed your team's colors and deck your pet out in team gear? Do you plan game day watch parties for fellow sports lovers and their beloved pets? Then you are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and die-hard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Jaguars Happy Hour continues on the Jaguars Radio Network. Glad you're along with us on this Thursday afternoon. JP Shadrick along with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman. The Jaguars off Thursday, back on the practice field Friday and Saturday, and then in the stadium logs Sunday for the annual scrimmage. Still a little unclear as to the script, what it's going to feel like. Urban Meyer said yesterday that they were going to meet about that this afternoon, so we haven't had a chance to hear from the coach since then, so not exactly sure the script, but we do know that it will be broadcast. We'll have it on radio here in Jacksonville. We'll have it on television here in Jacksonville up until the team periods. I want to give away all that stuff. So if you want to come watch practice and see the 11-on-11 stuff, you can register at jaguars.com/training camp. Plenty of tickets available. It's in the stadium, of course. There's like 65,000 seats in the place. So come get your tickets. Come on down. Sunday morning football, Logs. Love it.
Mm-hmm. What's wrong with that? It's kind of like the game in London, right? It's early morning Sunday football.
That's right. Yeah, 9:30, right? That's about when it starts each year.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it because I have a feeling that you're going to create some live type scenarios, which you haven't done yet in practice, as far as taking guys to the ground. Even though there's been a few moments where Damian Wilson acted like it was live, the linebacker that's playing. By the way, Damian Wilson is making a strong, and I bring his name up because he's making a strong impression on me.
Yeah, he spoke the other day at the podium for the first time, Logs. It was really our first opportunity to catch up with him, and he's been on winning defenses before.
Well, him and Joe Schobert are in a serious battle for that other position because Miles Jack is going to be a starter at one of them for sure. Then Wilson and Schobert are going to be battling out. And just like we talked about with Little at left tackle and that competition with Cam Robinson, having linebackers compete for playing time is a good thing. So I like it. That's what you want to see. But when you watch him play and then all of a sudden the coach says, okay, this is going to be live, he's one of those guys that you know is going to bring a physical element. He's a little bit more physical, a little bit bigger than Joe Schobert. Schobert's probably a little bit more athletic, maybe has a little bit better coverage skills, but it's going to be a really interesting battle. And I think this scrimmage is going to be weighed heavily in the coaches' minds for determining a lot of things when you start to get ready for the first preseason game.
Yeah, it's coming up next Saturday, right? I mean, the Browns are here next Saturday. I can't even believe that.
Yeah, and I'm excited because, and the reason I'm excited because, and I'm hoping that coaches play the preseason a little bit differently this year and that they play the starters a little bit more because there's only 3 preseason games. You have a big window between the last preseason game and the opener for the teams. And Cleveland's a good football team, a really good football team. I don't know if Myles Garrett is going to play But, man, I hope he does because it would be a great test for the Jaguars' offensive linemen.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good squad up there in Cleveland these days. After
and they got a guy by the name of Clowney. And if Clowney plays, where he's going to line up, nobody knows.
He didn't do anything last year, Logs, though. Tennessee.
No, I know he was hurt a lot too. He was hurt a lot.
That's
but
the
I
story
can
of
tell you this,
Jadeveon Clowney, I guess. Yeah.
Me and Baselli agree on that. You know, a lot of people say, well, he doesn't rush the passer, his sack numbers aren't great. The reality is, not last year because he was hurt, and he's been hurt for a couple of years, but when he has been healthy, he's one of the top 5 most disruptive players on defense in the National Football League, in my opinion. Now, he's got to be healthy to do that. And it's been a while since he's been able to do that.
Yeah.
But when he's healthy, he can be that.
Jeff Lageman with us, Jaguars analyst. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. And Logs, we're 2 days into padded practices. They're off today. They're back in pads this weekend, starting tomorrow. And those are open to the public, by the way. Friday and Saturday are sold out on the practice fields. But as we said, the scrimmage is still open. Plenty of tickets available. Jaguars.com/training camp. Give us, if you would, off the cuff here, your top 5 training camp performers so far. If you had to rank 5, the top 5. Or 3, if that's easier.
No. I'm going to give you some guys, okay?
Okay, good.
Shaq, first of all, Shaq Griffin.
Yeah, the
awesome.
Cornerback, yeah.
I mean, awesome. I mean, this guy, when you spend that kind of money in free agency, you hope that you get a really good performer. But I think they really got more than just a great performer. They got a great performer and also a guy who has some really strong leadership skills. I know that the Jaguars.com had a little mic'd up piece. You guys teased it earlier.
Yeah, it's coming up tonight.
He's trust me, he is awesome. Fun to watch. I love the addition also of Roy Robertson Harris. I mean, the guy is physical. He's all about business. I think that when you start talking about adding guys in free agency, and these are your top 5 guys that stand out, that's exactly what you want. Because, if you're paying guys in free agency, you need them to perform. Got to go to my nose tackle. Devon Hamilton is one of these guys. Travis Etienne, he had a little bit of the dropsies in yesterday's practice and one-on-ones. But, JP, how many times do you see that guy in space and see his speed?
He just turns it on in an instant, too. It is 1-2 steps, he's full speed.
He is one of those guys that every time he touches the ball, because we've been saying this for a number of years, how many weapons do the Jaguars have that make you hold your breath when they touch the ball?
No, there weren't many before, no.
Etienne is one of those guys. Without a doubt. Josh Allen, I think, is having a wonderful camp. He's showing athleticism. I think this defense is going to be really good for him. I think he's come back in tremendous shape.
Yeah.
The one guy that I wanted to see a better day from yesterday, Laviska Shenault, in the one-on-ones, didn't get a lot of separation, but that's not really his game.
Nope.
His game is physical, and he's going to pound you, and he's going to run the ball a little bit. But there's so many different guys, JP, that I think have taken a step up in their game. And I think due in large part, one, the coaching, I think, is really good. I think Urban Meyer has done a great job. I think the level of competition amongst players has been raised. The expectations have been raised. And it's good to see. I'm as excited about this football team as I have been in years. Honestly, in years, because I love the trajectory that they're on right now. I love the way that the players are working. And look, I know this team still got a long ways to go, but it makes me excited because you're seeing some things. Now, you're also seeing some areas, JP, you want to see more from. The tight end group, I think, has got a ways to go.
Sure.
I think the wide receiver group is starting to make progress. The quarterback group is making progress. But I think this defense, which was absolutely abysmal last year, is in the process of making some serious steps forward and is going to be a much better unit under Joe Cullen. Just because they've addressed it in free agency, they've addressed it in the draft, and the players themselves have addressed it by improving their own ability.
Well, it sounds pretty good to me, Logs. I'll take all that.
Well, the other thing I think, JP, that has been really interesting to me, and that you listen to the interviews, you listen to the coaches and everything. One of the things that has come up repeatedly with everybody, it's the rejuvenation, the regeneration stuff that the players are doing.
It's all everybody talks about. Absolutely.
Everybody is mentioning that. And I think it's one of the biggest stories that there is with this football team in training camp by far. For the players to have the ability to have all the latest and greatest technology to help their bodies to recoup and to recover and to be fresh is awesome. From massage therapy, cryotherapy, float tanks. What is the thing where they take a nap in? It's called it's
right.
All these,
they've got this dry needling acupuncture stuff now.
Yeah, well, dry needling's been around for a while. Yeah. And it's awesome that this is at the touch of the player's fingertips. It's right there throughout the course of the day. They're utilizing all of this. And every player to a man has been saying how much better their body feels this year compared to past year. And it's all because of Urban Meyer. He came in and he changed the mindset. Most players have always been taught that you can't make the club in the tub, right?
That's
How
correct.
many times have we heard that?
All the time.
Urban Meyer has come in and said, look, you can't make the club unless you're in the tub. What he means by that is that if you're not in the tub and taking care of your body and getting that body ready to perform, you're not at your best. So he's changed the mindset with the players, and that this stuff that is available to them is good. It helps you be a better player. It helps your body be better. Because, again, for years, can't make the club in the tub. Oh, man, a training room, you don't want to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start getting that old stinky eye from the coach because you're in the training room all the time. Well, that mindset has changed, and it doesn't happen without Urban Meyer.
I never thought I'd hear that phrase tonight. Stanky eye. Stanky eye. from Jeff Lageman, of all people. But there it is. Well, there you have it. It's
you obviously know what it is, right?
It makes sense to me. Yeah, I got it. I understood what you were saying.
I can tell you one person that definitely knows what it is, and that's Joe Fortunato.
Yeah, our producer extraordinaire.
Up in Philadelphia now, if you do the wrong thing, they're going to give you the stank eye.
I bet they would. Yeah, that's Philly for you. Tough town. Logs, we will talk to you again next week, I guess, and we'll look forward to the broadcast of the scrimmage on Sunday. That'll be fun, right?
Yep, looking forward to it, JP. Thank you, brother.
Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst with us. He'll be back with us again next week on Jaguars Happy Hour. We've got plenty ahead. We will hear from the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, when we come back. Get his thoughts on adjusting to the offense so far. And a little later, Judy Battista will be back with us, NFL media reporter. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the print services you need for your business. Need large banners and signs for your next promotional event? How about vehicle wraps to advertise your company fleet? Find out for yourself how Kessler Creative can help you stand out from the competition with eye-catching designs that are sure to impress your customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida, results-driven marketing, and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That sound is every driver's worst fear. How much will the repairs cost? Is it your engine, your transmission, or worse? A car breakdown could cost you thousands to repair, but not if you have CarShield. CarShield administrators pay your claims directly to the mechanic or dealer of your choice, saving you time and money. Call CarShield today before your next breakdown. Call 800-471-1223, 800-471-1223.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
His whole slogan for his team is owning everything. And one thing he says is we have the ultimate authority, and it's basically just you control what happens in your life by your decisions. And there's a lot of people that want to blame other people for what happens in their life. And
Jaguars Happy Hour continues. JP Shadrick, our thanks to Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst, joining us in the first half hour of the program. Breaking down some film. The first couple days of padded practices for the Jaguars are in the books. They were off today, off the practice field at least. Back on it tomorrow and Saturday. Practices open to the public on the practice field. They are sold out, though. You had to pre-register. It's been packed every day it's been open. It will be packed again tomorrow and Saturday, weather permitting, of course. There's been a lot of rain here in Jacksonville in the last week, certainly in the afternoons, but we're getting some weird ones overnight the last few days, it feels like. Hopefully that'll hold off tomorrow and Saturday. And then Sunday, the Jaguars move inside the stadium for the first time inside TIAA Bank Field for the annual scrimmage. Still a little unclear as to what the script will look like for head coach Urban Meyer. He wasn't sure yet, at least yesterday in his media conference. They were going to meet about it today and try to figure out the true plan. But he did mention, that, hey, there's one less preseason game. Will it have more of a game feel? There will be some 11-on-11 team elements in that scrimmage on Sunday. You will get to watch the early part of practice on Fox 30 in Jacksonville, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday, and they will go off the air once team drills begin, the 11-on-11 stuff. The radio broadcast here in Jacksonville on 1010XL and 92.5 FM, that's at 9:30 as well on Sunday morning. And they'll go all the way through. They'll have some live play-by-play of the team periods. So check that out here in Jacksonville. And if you want to see the team periods, you can just come on down to the stadium, and you got to register first, jaguars.com/training camp. And plenty of tickets available. We're expecting a nice crowd. Sunday morning football, 9:45 practice starts, 9 o'clock. The gates open. Let's hear from Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars quarterback, saying all the right things. It's an own-it mentality from Urban Meyer and the Jaguars.
I'm still in that process. I'm a lot further than I was in the spring, so I feel confident in what I know, but there's just so many little details that, I don't know if you ever can say, I know it all. You're always learning, and I definitely still have some more to learn, and different situations I got to get used to. Like we did 2-minute today, and I'm feeling more comfortable with that, but still trying to make that like clockwork, second nature. It's just something you got to work.
Work in progress for the quarterback. It is this time of camp, 6-7 practices in, a lot of installations, according to Darrell Bevel, and you could tell the other day that it might have, slowed him down a little bit on the practice field. But as Jeff Lageman said earlier, that happens not only to quarterback rookies, but to a lot of rookies at times. There's so much new going in. And think about it. It's the first time in a long time that Trevor Lawrence has had to learn a new offense from the beginning. So he's had the whole offseason to get it going, and now in training camp it's coming at a faster pace. There's really no doubt, in my mind at least, that he's going to be able to handle this in the long run and come back and make those fantastic throws that we've seen on a practice-by-practice basis. There's a handful of throws of practice that if things aren't going well, he'll pull those out, and things magically go well all of a sudden pretty quickly. By the way, tomorrow the Jaguars have practice on the practice field in the morning, 9:45. After practice tomorrow, Joe Cullen, defensive coordinator, scheduled to speak. Gardner Minshew scheduled to be at the podium. Interesting. We'll hear from the Jaguars quarterback Gardner Minshew tomorrow. And Chris Manhertz, free agent addition, tight end, and a large, strong, powerful human being. You will hear from him after practice tomorrow here at the Dreamfinders Homes practice complex. We'll come back in a moment. We'll hear from Judy Battista, her thoughts on Urban so far in training camp, and Trevor Lawrence's first couple of days in pads. And it's Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets, undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network. JP Shadrick with you on this Thursday afternoon. The Jags off from practice today, back at it tomorrow. And on the scrimmage field, on the game field, inside the stadium. Easy for me to say. That's Sunday morning, 9:45. Jaguars.com/training camp. So a lot coming up. The final 3 days, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, of open practices to the public. Then they'll shut it down and get ready for the preseason opener next Saturday against the Cleveland Browns here at TIAA Bank Field. Usually each training camp we get visits from national media types that come in. More this year, I think, than in the past because of the circumstances around the team this year. Judy Battista, though, is a standby. She comes every year no matter what. Longtime reporter in the NFL, most of those years with the New York Times from 1998 to 2013. Joined NFL Media in 2013, NFL Network reporter. Judy Battista, her thoughts on Urban Meyer so far in camp, how he could handle the pressure of real football games when they start in about a month's time, and what Trevor Lawrence has looked like so far.
Do you think there will be some change in Urban as this goes along?
I don't know specific to Urban. There's changes in every coach in the NFL once the season gets going, which is why I always say, like, I love coming to training camp because for the most part nothing bad has happened yet. So everybody's still in a good mood, everybody's optimistic, and you haven't played a game yet. Most places tighten up, not just coaches, players do too, and that's understandable, right? I mean, they feel the pressure, and but look, Urban's been around the block a lot at an extremely high level with an awful lot of success, so I would think he probably changes less. What I'm curious about is if they don't, he is used to tremendous success at an extremely high level, and so if that doesn't happen, that I'm curious to see how he handles that and what he does to correct it.
Judy Battista with us from NFL Media. You've seen Trevor Lawrence on the field now for a day, and there have been a few moments in every practice where you say, you know what, that's the number 1 overall pick for a reason.
Yeah, there was that pass yesterday to Marvin Jones that was like between two defenders that was a rocket, and like the reporters gasped, right? We're, whoa, that looks like a quarterback. And there were a few other plays that, probably aren't on the highlight reel, but where he rolled out and made throws on the run, and plays would break down and he would make something of it, and that's what you want to see, right? I mean, maybe even more than the rocket to Marvin Jones, which I think we all know he can make that pass. It's the creating plays when things are falling apart and making plays on the move. That's really what you want to see. I talked to Brian Schottenheimer yesterday, and he said, as ridiculous as it sounds, you sort of forget what a great athlete he is, how he can move because he's so tall, right? He's 6'6", and so you forget that, like, he can move. And he was moving yesterday, and it looked good. Yesterday looked really good to me. I know the day before maybe it wasn't quite as smooth, but yesterday I thought looked good. And that's what a rookie quarterback's going to do, right? What you want to see is that he can have a good day after a bad one.
Darrell Bevell spoke with the media after practice Tuesday and said that, that day, yesterday, Tuesday, was maybe there was a little bit of overload in terms of the play calling and the retention from the installation earlier in the day. Even with the number 1 overall pick, that can happen, right? It's a rookie quarterback. It's a lot of new going on here, but how he handles that and moves forward, I think, will be the real answer and the telling part of Trevor.
Yeah, Schottenheimer said the same thing, that what they're looking for is how does he retain stuff? How does he adjust? Does he remember the checks at the line of scrimmage? How does he call the protections for the offensive line? All of the things that go into being a quarterback that, frankly, most people are not, right? We're just looking to see, is he completing passes? There's so much more that goes into it. And, they always say it's like drinking from a fire hose, right? Like, you get this gigantic playbook, and it's like, here, kid, go. So there's going to be ups and downs. Like, I was at the Jets last week, and it's the same thing with Zach Wilson, and Robert Saleh said there's going to be ebbs and flows, and it's going to drive everybody crazy, players, coaches, fans, but this is part of the process. And all you want to see is that they can bounce back from a not good day and have a good day, and Trevor did that yesterday. So I don't think they have any concerns about Trevor Lawrence's ability to process stuff. Schottenheimer compared him in terms of mental acuity to Phillip Rivers, which is a pretty high bar to reach. So that's pretty good.
That is very good indeed. Judy Battista, NFL media reporter, earlier this week at training camp 2021 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're back in a moment with the Baptist Health injury report for the Jags, and it's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight.
Liftoff.
When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar.
Cannonball!
Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
It's a fact. All cars will eventually break down.
If you have CarShield, you can protect yourself from the high cost of auto repairs. And they're America's #1 auto protection company. Your transmission, engine, and car's computer system are all covered. Get the ultimate vehicle service protection. Call CarShield now at 800-471-1223. That's 800-471-1223.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Hey, that's a good start. Bring it up. It's hell of a start, y'all boys. Let's keep working one play at a time. Technique sound. You gotta slow it down. Be a professional. I keep saying that. Technique. DB's on 3. 1, 2, 3. DB.
Shaquille Griffin, Jaguars cornerback, mic'd up at an earlier practice this week. I believe that was the first day of pads. About 2 days ago. It'd been Tuesday. You'll see the full version tonight on Jaguars.com, the Jaguars YouTube channel. It's coming up, and our thanks to the Jaguars PR staff and the Jaguars football staff and Shaq Griffin for making that happen. That's going to be a fantastic watch, so check that out coming up a little later tonight. Time now for the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Now, there are not daily updates from head coach Urban Meyer, and they're not really giving you a lot of detail on some of these, but the one player on the active non-football injury list is Dylan Moses. We know he had knee issues in the past in college, so he's off to the side, at least for now, and that is a project for a little bit further down the line, it feels like. C.J. Beathard has landed on the reserve COVID-19 list. The quarterback who came in from San Francisco as a free agent, has a pretty good amount of guaranteed money this year. C.J. Henderson, cornerback, is still on the reserve COVID-19 list, though he has been out on the practice field the last couple days, starting to work back. There's a window there at the end of your run on the list where you can get back, on the field, at least off to the side. He's done some of that. And Urban Meyer said, he just hasn't played in a while. He was hurt a lot last year, has not played football in a while, so he's going to be behind. But he is a 9th overall pick in a previous draft, so he's got some skill. It's just a matter of getting him back on the field. And defensive tackle Taven Bryan, who had an accident at the start of camp that was not his fault, according to head coach Urban Meyer, has now landed on the reserve COVID-19 list as well. So Taven Bryan is not available for the team at the moment. There's the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. We'll come back in a moment. Our final thoughts ahead of a final weekend of open practices to the public tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. The Jaguars in training camp 2021. We're a little over a week away from preseason week 1. In fact, there's football tonight as well, the Hall of Fame game. All that coming up. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubbies Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Fans like you have been told that going all out is going too far. But fans like you know better. You're the kind of fan who loves the team as much as your pet, who paints yourself for game days and dyes your pet's fur to match. You are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and diehard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Hold on. You want me to tell them about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea in just 30 seconds? This is impossible. Hey, I'm Billy from Twisted Tea. How can I explain that first sip of cold, smooth, real brewed tea? So good! And the extra kick you get from just the right amount of alcohol? The twist of lemon, Wait, what? We're almost out of time? Oh, shit. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Welcome back. Final moments of Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday afternoon. JP Shadrick along with you. Joe Fortunato on the audio side. Brent Reber on the video side tonight. Our thanks to Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst, who will join us every week. And our thanks to Judy Battista, NFL media reporter, NFL Network, NFL.com columnist. She does it all for NFL media. Great insight from her on this Jaguars team early in training camp. Urban Meyer's first NFL team. Trevor Lawrence in his first 2 padded practices. And she had some great thoughts on the NFL's vaccination rate that continues to rise and the possibility of full stadium around the league this 2021 season. So that's still the goal for the NFL. Well, the goal for the Jaguars this week in terms of filling the seats, well, they are filled tomorrow and Saturday at practice. It's sold out. You had to register ahead of time. There are no more seats available for the public tomorrow and Saturday. Should be a nice crowd, sizable both days, and we've seen that already in the 3 open practices late last week. Really came out in droves for this Jags team. So a lot to see, of course. But if you can't make it tomorrow and Saturday, then Sunday's scrimmage is open to the public as well. It's inside the stadium, and tickets are available for that. Jaguars.com/training camp. You must register ahead of time. And that's the only way you'll get to see team work on Sunday, 11-on-11 drills. There is a television broadcast here in Jacksonville, 9:30 a.m. on Fox 30, but they will not show any of the team drills on Sunday morning. They'll go up until that point. The radio broadcast, well, you can't see it because it's on radio. So they'll have some live play-by-play of the team periods. Bring a radio with you to the stadium if you're coming. You'll hear Logs and Baselli explain what the heck's going on early in practice if you'd like to. And it's a 9:45 start for practice. Gates open at 9 o'clock Sunday morning. And should be a nice day, hopefully. The weather will hold off, and will be inside the stadium for the first time with a fresh new field after the Green Day concert last week. They stripped the field away, and the new grass should be in place and ready to go by Sunday morning. The Jags back on the field tomorrow, and Joe Cullen, after practice, scheduled to speak, Jaguars defensive coordinator. He's been very insightful throughout camp so far on the possibilities for this Jaguars defense. We'll see a week later what has transpired on that side of the ball for him. Gardner Minshew slated to speak with the media tomorrow afternoon as well for the first time in training camp. We'll get his thoughts on everything going on. He had quite a few comments right before training camp started, in fact. We'll see what he's feeling like tomorrow. Should be a good one. And we'll hear from Chris Manhertz, the big blocking tight end for the Jags. He could do a little bit more than that also. He's been a vet in this league for a long time. So we'll hear from him tomorrow and get his thoughts on what this Jaguars offense could be moving ahead. All right, that'll do it for Jaguars Happy Hour. Thanks to our entire crew, and thanks to you for listening and for watching. I'm JP Shadrick. We'll catch you next time. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.